Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I am back with a speed build apartment inspired by one of my favorite films that goes by the name of Atlantis: The Lost Empire. I wanted to make an apartment that I think the main character would live in. His name is Milo James Thatch. He is a linguist and a cartologist as well. And basically the film is about him and his grandfather had a dream of finding this unspoken of city that everybody thought was extinct, and he at the time worked for a museum who didn't really believe in his findings. They assumed him and his grandfather were nut jobs basically. So I wanted to do a specific apartment based off of just a bunch of clutter items that he would have used, such as like maps and picture frames and a bunch of artifacts that will be added both in the living room and in the bedroom. I also went with a more antique style for the kitchen as well, so I used these counters here that I believe fit the build and a little bit older than the other counters. I actually preferred them over the cottage living counters only because I felt like the darker wood fit really well with the gray undertones and the brick that I chose for the wallpaper. So initially I wanted to keep everything very old, but I felt like the stove looked really good, and for gameplay purposes I added a microwave and a coffee maker because I felt like if I went too old school it'd be a little bit too challenging for your average player. So but I definitely do want to redo this build, just purely making it as like old and antique as possible, so removing all the kitchen stuff that I added in this one, probably changing out the kitchen fridge as well. I did add a computer and a TV to this build. I just didn't know what else to put in that space other than a TV. But yeah, so it's a film I always grew up around, and I always, till this day, I watch it every so often. It's kind of like a comfort film. They have a second movie as well. They're both good, but I feel like the first movie is definitely my favorite. I've always loved treasure movies and treasure hunting movies and movies that tell a story. I feel like we definitely need more movies like this one, as well as another favorite movie of mine that I do still want to do a build for is called Treasure Planet. It came out back in 2002, so I was very young. 2002 was actually the year I was born, so I definitely watched it later on, but I remember enjoying it because of the mystery and the character development in each character throughout the films were super intriguing, and I found it like the most interesting and eye-catching, at least compared to the animated films that come out now. I was also considering on making a animated series where I dedicate either a apartment or a house, or even characters, just me recreating what I think they would live in or what I think they would look like in The Sims. So I might try to make a character that looks like Milo in my next video. I also wanted to say thank you for all the comments and support that I've received throughout these past few months that I've been posting, so I really do appreciate it, and I really do enjoy reading your guys' comments and stuff. So yeah, right now I'm kind of like placing stuff wherever. I have later on you'll see a bunch of clutter items that I'll put to the side so I can use them for the office area, because I felt like to save on time to place them already out in the open so I can use them later instead of searching for them. Yeah, I used to build more often, so I used to be a little bit more like fluent and faster when it comes to placing items. I forgot the mechanics a little bit, but yeah, I'm really happy with the color scheme I went for in this build. The browns, the hints of green, and especially with the cups and the paper I placed everywhere for clutter, like on the tables and on the desk and stuff. I wanted the apartment to feel very lived in. If you've watched the movie, you'd know that Milo is a very chaotic character. He's always late, he's always in a rush, and he's always invested in whatever mystery he has going on. This is also something that I wanted to try new. I added a plant in the kitchen that's like overhanging. I thought it looked really cool, and I think it added a lot of like character to the house as well. I also wanted to add a bookshelf like you see in the dining room space. I wanted the apartment to be filled with a bunch of books and a bunch of stuff that he would be studying. Felt like it fit the theme I was going for. And I also made them dark brown as well. I also wanted to use a different shelf here, but I just felt like with such a small space, the more simpler shelf I used here was probably the best bet. And I'm kind of happy with the fact that I used just a bunch of random clutter items. I felt like he'd have stuff kind of everywhere. And this is all, like, none of this is CC, so if you do have all the packs, I highly recommend you download this and see what you can do with it. I'd love to see what you guys do with it during gameplay. If you have watched the movie, I feel like this apartment is also very versatile. It could be a writer's apartment or an elderly's apartment, depending on the gameplay you're playing. I feel like it's very versatile when it comes to that. So yeah, so I'm just placing all the clutter here, trying to fill up the gaps because I don't like many gaps in shelving, especially if I'm going for a more lived-in feel. These are actually the first time I've used the wine bottles. I felt like it made sense that he'd be collecting them, or even like using them as like clues, because a lot of stories that I've heard growing up is like a treasure map in a wine bottle type of thing, so that's kind of what I was going for. The dining table I used here, the reason why like I used this one is because I felt like with his character he wouldn't have a lot of guests over, so I wanted something kind of like small and tucked away, and also filled with a bunch of like writing stuff. I was gonna use the dining table before that, but I just felt like it took too much room and it was a little bit too modern. I wanted something a little bit older looking. So yeah, I don't like a lot of these clutter items, especially with the ornaments I used in the living room. That is the very first time I've dabbled with that. It's not usually a clutter item I have a chance to use, so it was very fun to use a lot of items that like are antique, including the picture frames. A lot of the picture frames I used have a frame that's very old and very like, I don't know, it looks like it's from the 70s. And I usually like building very pastel, or not pastel, but like more modern builds. So using a frame like that and using ornaments that look like they come from the jungle is not usually the best clutter item for it. And yeah, I also wanted to I don't know, the curtains itself, I really wanted to have like a little bit of green show, not only with the plants, but The main color schemes I went for this build was the green, the brown, and the gray. Those are kind of like the colors I evolved this build around. And this is also the first time I've gotten a chance to use this rug. I felt like it complements the place really well. It kind of looks like very dusty and looked like it hasn't been taken care for, so I like that as well. I was gonna go with this fireplace, but I just felt like the color didn't really sit right. It was a little bit like too gray. So I ended up going with a more brown one, the one you see on the right here. I just felt like it fit like the house better and it took less room. This is a smaller apartment, so I didn't want it to be too bulky, because I wanted to kind of put a table behind the couch where the fireplace is opposite to. I felt like if I used the other one it would be a little bit too cramped and your Sims wouldn't be able to move around. I have not tested out the gameplay with this, so I'm not sure if everything works, but I'm pretty sure I left a good amount of space, at least to move it over a little bit if it doesn't work. Again, I'm going in with a bunch of bookshelves. I end up covering this entire wall with them. I just wanted this apartment to feel like he just reads and studies and tries to like analyze every piece of material, and basically just I wanted it to resemble his career and his life and his aspirations, you know. I don't know, I thought it'd be cool to also add like a globe and a bunch of artifacts and stuff that he'd be collecting. I feel like it tells a really nice story, and I don't know, I'm really happy with how the build turned out. I feel like it really would be his apartment. I did watch the film prior to this, but I didn't use I don't think I really used any of the furniture or even the color scheme of his actual apartment. I just thought if I were to create an apartment for him, this is what I think it would look like. I didn't really want to copy it off the film because I wanted to be a little bit more original. So I'm just filling this coffee table with a bunch of clutter, and I end up using the glasses like clutter thing you see on the right there a lot, only because I felt like it was the only thing that fit on the shelves. I didn't want this build to be too long, so I ended up just using that, and again applying a lot of cups and make it seem like it's not really being looked after, and he kind of is like always in a rush, always drinking coffee, always late for work, always like on the run type of thing. And honestly, I really like the TV there. I think the TV really fits well, and I don't usually use that TV. Like I said, I prefer modern builds or modern interiors, so using that TV finally in a build was, I don't know, was sort of fun. It's not usually the style I go for, so I was really happy with that. I was trying to find different ornaments that he would have collected over the years. So I ended up putting a statue there in the corner to the right of the TV. That's kind of like a knight. I felt like it fit super perfect, and I never get to use this stuff because it doesn't really fit. It's usually out of place. So the story behind that is I was thinking that it would be kind of like something he brought with him after like exploring like the lost city or like even an abandoned castle and stuff like that. So I really like how the night turned out. There it is right there. I just feel like it just adds so much, like it ages the apartment really well. It adds so much character, and I don't know, I'm so happy I got the chance to use that, along with the globe as well that I used beside the couches there. Yeah, this one right here. I also have never used it, but I'm thinking it actually might work in a lot of other builds that I do, including the modern ones. I just have to play around with the colors a little bit. I like the idea of it being in an office. I feel like that looks really good. I also have a cold, so if I sound pretty stuffy, that's why. So I do apologize for that. And right now I think I'm looking for a bunch of paintings and stuff. His degree, I'd imagine that would be there, because in that corner to the right where I just put the last picture is going to be his little office nook. I applied a whiteboard there to kind of seem like he was brainstorming ideas and trying to search for another lost city, who knows. And I love using this carpet. It, like all the other items like the knight and the artifacts and stuff, I don't get a chance to use any of the carpets that kind of look a little bit more dated. So a lot of the carpets are very dated. Like the majority of them are just carpets and color schemes that you wouldn't be able to fit in a modern home. I also really enjoyed picking out the paintings for this build. And this set of painting would have to be my favorite, only because it looks so realistic. It's probably one of the more realistic paintings that The Sims 4 has. This is the painting I was talking about I was explaining the frame, how antique and old-fashioned it is. I think it works really well with the build. I'm just filling up as much as I can because I feel like if you've watched the movie, you'll also know that he is very old school. Like he likes to collect stuff. A little bit of a nerd, I guess. Also, I really loved that desk. The desk is like very pretty, and I felt like it just looks like a linguist desk. It looks like something that was passed on, and I really like the color of it. I matched it with these like rocking chair type of chair, only because I felt like anything else would have looked a little too modern and it would have just not fit, so I went with that chair. And like I mentioned before, I did add a computer. There's a total of I think 4 windows in this build. So there's one behind the desk, one in the kitchen, one in the washroom, and one in the bedroom. I was trying to play around with like different windows before filming this. I just didn't think any of them fit properly because everything is so cluttered with the bookshelves and stuff. And yeah, I ended up going with those curtains because they just looked the most dated. That's probably the only reason why I used them. I could have sworn I used a more rustic looking curtain. I just couldn't find it. So to cut on time, I kind of just went with those. I'm trying to clutter up the desk. I'm trying to see what kind of looks right. I was going to go with that stack of books, but I felt like it was just abnormally small and it didn't really fit. For my next build, I do want to take a look, like a deeper look on the clutter items, because I feel like there was a bunch of stuff I could have used that I probably just didn't notice. So I want to take a look again to see if there is much more of a variety than what I used today for this build. But all in all, I'm really happy about how it turned out. I don't think I ended up putting this, if I remember. I think I was trying to make it like fit, but it couldn't level properly with me, so I just gave up on it. And yeah, so it was a very interesting build because I feel like it pops out way more than my other builds, especially recently. I did a pottery and cafe build the last time I did a speed build, and I don't think that was my last one. I think it was my second last video. But I really like this one only because I feel like I put way more effort into the clutter. It's so much easier to not have to worry about the exterior of a home when all you have to do is decorate. So it's definitely easier to clutter up an apartment than a house. Because in my other builds, I had to worry about the plants, I had to worry about trees, I had to worry about the roofing, so it definitely takes a lot more time than an apartment does. I do try to edit a lot out of the videos, just like wasted time just to shrink down the length of them, but for this video specifically, I shrunk it as much as I could, and I feel like it's a reasonable time for how much effort I put into it. And here I am working on the bedroom. I was trying to get a variety of different curtains, but I just ended up going with like these plain ones. As well as the closet space. Usually I go with a closet like this, but I just didn't want the room to be too simple, so later on you'll see what I added in the corner there to kind of fill up the space. I do end up moving the closet over to increase the size of the bathroom because I felt like the bathroom was just a little too crammed. And then I end up moving the the closet to the left there, just so I could fit something in the corner there, so it's not just against the wall and there's like no clutter item I could put there. I was gonna originally go with this bed, and it does fit the build, but I wanted something a little bit more detailed and something that kind of matched the couches a little bit, so I ended up going with this. It just looks a little bit more like animated than the other ones. I felt like the other one was a little too simple, and I didn't really spend that much time in the bedroom because I honestly was struggling with the shelf part. I didn't really know how to clutter it up as well because I didn't want to repeat all the stuff I've cluttered up, but yeah, I think that's all the commentary I can do to try to explain like the theme and stuff for this video. But I'm really hoping you guys enjoy it. After the bedroom, I think I just clutter everything up with plants, and I do add a table behind the couch that displays a bunch of ornaments that he may have collected. So and I switch out all the lighting to kind of give it a more like warm tone to it, as well as candles in the kitchen. But wait till the end of the video. I did include a bunch of screenshots, so I hope you guys look forward to that, and I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Where you look, where you touch, where you feel, yeah. Where you look, where you touch, where you feel, yeah. Can we talk about, can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about, can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about, can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about, can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about, can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about, can we talk about me and you?
Stars up in the sky, directions hard to find. Under the stars up in the sky, I got lost at night. Under the stars up in the sky, directions hard to find. Under the stars up in the sky, I don't know where to take this, I don't wanna break this. We're living in the moment, living in the moment. Your head is on my shoulder, we're never getting older. Baby, it's you and I